Hi everyone, and thanks for listening into here at keithcounseling.com. And today's video is actually part of a video series of interview and Q&A with me. And today I have a great friend of mine, Gabe Gonzales. So Gabe is going to be here just talking with us. We're going to have a conversation about some of our favorite things. And one of those is leadership. And I know, Gabe, can you just tell us real quick what your job is and what you do for career, and then we'll jump in.
First of all, I think my greatest job has been to be a father. I was blessed to be a father of a little boy now 18 years ago, and I have been blessed with bonus children and a grandchild now, and so that is my greatest gift and has been. And as we talk about leadership, I can't help but pull from some of those experiences because that's truly who I've been leading.
Mm-hmm.
In addition to that, my job, my work has led me to a growth in leadership over the past 15 years. And again, grateful of some of the experience that I've had, some of the leadership icons that I've had the opportunity of seeing live and listening to and studying and reading and talking to personally. And so I've been in real estate since 2004.
Awesome.
And through my journey, I have been in different leadership positions in different companies that had led me up to 5 years ago opening my own brokerage firm. And so we have a brokerage firm of about 75 agents now, and it's really, I'll tell you, one of the highlights in my leadership experience is when we opened the brokerage firm, we didn't have an intent of growing it large. My wife and I needed a platform with which we can help our clientele, and it was the role that I've held in different organizations, and so I opened a brokerage firm. And when I did so, my phone started to ring, and it's a really, really, really cool thing when people that don't have to follow you start coming along. And at this point, we've got a brokerage firm of 75 folks.
That's awesome.
That we're able to impact in pretty cool ways on a daily basis. And so that's what I do for work.
That's awesome. Of course, you named the best thing first, being a dad. That was great.
I always say my job as a parent was to help you become a responsible adult.
That's right. We're raising adults.
And
so
that's
good
stuff.
Man.
Grateful.
You know, leadership is like a topic right now that's like number one in our culture, because we're heading into this time of trying to pick a leader, and it's so controversial, right?
Yeah.
People are splitting up over, who they're going to vote for. The country's divided about leadership.
Yeah.
And it implies that like everyone, has an idea what a leader is. Everyone has their opinion of what a good leader is all about.
So many times we look at a leader as external, as someone who's the top of the company that I work for, someone who is the head of the church that I attend.
Right. Who's on top?
Yes.
Who's the best?
And I think we miss an opportunity to look inside and see where we are leaders. But I think we have an opportunity to be leaders in so many areas, and we don't even realize it.
Well, I like what you said, going inward. As a therapist, I deal with leadership a lot, actually. Just the idea of how do people lead themselves? How do you lead your thoughts? How do you lead your behavior? How do you lead your life? There's that other way of leading.
Yeah, I think.
And then also, who are you following?
Yeah.
Who do you allow yourself to be influenced by?
And so understanding who you are is critical.
Well, I would say, to go with that, Gabe, the point of much of therapy is to obtain one thing: self-awareness. Now, I bet if you asked anyone, most people would say, yeah, I'm pretty self-aware.
Yeah.
And I kind of look at it a little more like this. At times, many or some of us fall into being self-conscientious. And maybe you might think you're self-aware, but you might be more self-conscientious, which is leaning more towards you're focusing on your negatives and your weaknesses, and you become more insecure. And you need to move over out of that into self-awareness. Or people are fixated on their strengths and strengths only, and become the more egomaniac, if you will, and more dangerous relationally. And they have to kind of move to the other, more into the middle.
Yeah.
And so therapy in a way helps you kind of find the middle, which is where your self-awareness would live, which comes down to basically understanding your weakness, understanding your strengths, and keeping them in perspective while allowing others to give you points of view of yourself.
But what you'll find is, as human beings, we want to be right, and we want to be we want to look good.
Yep.
And so it comes out in ways that we're not even aware of. But this idea to be right and to look good, especially in surface level conversations, just comes out. And if we recognize that that's the case, then maybe we're able to draw back and remove ourselves from some of those conversations and ideas, and gain awareness of who we are and what we can do to better ourselves as humans.
And that can't happen if we're too attached to our pluses, or too attached to being right. If you're too attached to being right, then you have no room to hear what's wrong with you, right?
Yeah.
And become really defensive and bitter.
Yeah.
Same is for the other side. If we're too attached to what's wrong with us, then we live in a life of sabotage and destruction and low self-worth. And then we're not aware. We're just buried in that. And so we can't be too attached to either, right? Okay?
Yeah.
And what you're saying is that unless you're open to go, I can move off either one of these. I need to be.
Well, and it's an important space to be in when you can ask, whether it's your counselor or it's your mentor, help me find and understand and recognize my blind spots.
None of us can be 100% objective with ourselves. I think that's kind of the design, how God made it, right?
Yeah.
Is we need others, for all kinds of reasons, but I can't know myself completely without the eyes of others. I have blinders. I don't have the 360 on me.
No.
Thank God.
So,
right? And I
no.
need your vision to go, did you ever consider that? I went, I never saw that. I think that was probably why the stories of Christ and the blind man he heals, I think echoed forever. Because I think it was trying to teach the lesson. Everyone's blind somewhere. And you need someone to give you some sight. You know, and that's what we get to do, right?
Yeah.
You know, it isn't some miraculous healing, but it is a healing.
Yeah.
To kind of go, oh, I can see now. And that's the moments I kind of work for in being a therapist. The kinds of leaders that people follow are the ones who have been humbled enough to understand their own growth, their own weaknesses and strengths. They've allowed themselves to be examined and to grow themselves.
And ultimately, the leader that we are to look at as Christians is Christ. How it's the old '90s catchphrase, "What would Jesus do?"
Right.
But I think it's valid.
Yeah.
It's a valid question to ask internally all the time. In this situation, what example did Christ give us?
Yeah, that's, you know, the ultimate model, isn't it? You know, that Christ kind of flips things on its side when it comes to leadership, right?
Yeah.
He wasn't the I don't know, how we typically see leaders, right?
Yeah.
He was humble, truthful though, right? And compassionate, you know, different qualities that we don't always maybe attach to leaders, but Christ was the ultimate, right?
Yeah. Well, and what was he leading us to?
That's the question. What do you
Salvation.
lead toward?
He
Right.
wasn't leading us to making more money,
No.
having more things, the American way, having more status, more position, more power. He was leading us to salvation, which is the primary goal and focus of us here on earth is to be with him for eternity.
Yeah, and he also kind of lived the idea of give your life away.
Mm-hmm.
Don't keep obtaining,
Yeah.
right? Serve others. What you have, give it away. Give your life away. That was the whole model by him, right?
Yeah.
He led by giving his whole life away.
Yeah.
But in our capitalistic society, it's leadership is obtaining and taking as much as you can get, right?
Yeah,
it's
and
kind
it's
of the
a difficult.
opposite.
It's a difficult thing to balance, because giving your life, giving everything away, grates against what I've been told and taught, and we've got to find some balance within that.
So, man, as we kind of, we went over a lot of territory. I mean, what is self-awareness? What is leadership? Christian counseling, what's it for? I mean, I really appreciate this discussion. As always, we'll kind of always go over a lot of territory.
Yeah, yeah.
A lot of
Well,
miles.
it's a reminder, and I'm going to walk away today with the reminder that I need to be aware of my blind spots, and how do I find those?
Yeah.
How am I doing as a leader? I want to look at the different areas in my life that put me in a leadership position, and strive to be better. And to be better, again, I think that's an American term, but I encourage, be better 1%.
Right.
I think we
Just
think,
go for one right now, right?
I think when we say be better, it means I'm going to turn my whole life 180 degrees around from what I was doing, and that's not necessarily
It's not.
what we're doing. It's if I could grow 1% today, just 1%.
Yeah.
It might just be a different word that I use. It might be a different embrace that an embrace that I may give. I don't know if we're supposed to do that in a COVID world, but
Right.
maybe a smile or a nod or maybe that's just what's helping me grow that 1%.
I like
And
that.
so it's doing it in small incremental ways that we continue to build upon.
And I think I'll take away the idea of what we're talked about is being intentional with what you read. It may not be books, but for me, I'm going to take away that idea of being intentional, more of reading or indulging something that's more productive, in just a little bit. Like you said, I like that. And I tell that to people all the time. Just do something a little bit better today. One thing.
Yeah.
And that 1 degree turns into 10 degrees really soon
Yeah.
if you just do it consistently. So I'm going to be more intentional about some things. And I liked your beginning. Be an intentional leader as a parent too. That's good stuff, man. As always, brother, this has been always good.
Thank you.
Always good, man.
Thank you for the invite.
Thanks for being
Appreciate
here.
it.
All right, we'll talk again real soon.
All right.
So anyway, folks, if this was a benefit to you and this conversation brought something up for you, please share it and contact me at keithcounseling.com and subscribe to the channel below. Have a great day.